Hi scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with another layout for the Crafty Maven Getaway. For this layout, I am going to be using the sketch that I just showed you on the screen, and Jen is also going to be doing this sketch with me. And so our layouts turn out completely different though. I stay very true to the sketch, which does not happen a whole lot. Normally I kind of turn it and make it my own. I just use the sketch as a starting off point, but this time I really loved the sketch, and so I wanted to stay true to the sketch. So here I am just kind of going through the papers that I have. I don't have a whole lot of fall papers. I don't know why. I just don't I don't know. I just don't buy themey collections usually. And so I just don't have any fall themed. But this collection, which is called On the Bright Side, I thought it was pretty close to the fall colors and the colors in the inspiration piece. So I decided to back the photo on some purple paper. I believe it's from Basil, and it's a little bit textured. And then I had the 6x6 pad for this collection called On the Bright Side. And I don't remember who made it. But anyway, and then I decided to back the photo on that yellow chevron as well. And then here I'm going to use this yellow kind of leafy print, or not yellow, sorry, orange. As behind the photos. And then here I used my Silhouette Cameo to cut out a bunch of hearts from some of the papers from the paper pad, the 6x6 pad. And this mat is fairly new, and so they were kind of really sticking to the mat, so I had to use my little tool to get them off. So now I'm going to set everything aside and kind of start to put all these hearts out, and I'm going to play and fidget with this for a while. And yeah, it's just going to take a little time for me to get kind of the feel of what I want to go for. Here I'm thinking that the orange paper needs another piece of paper behind it to, I don't know, make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to use a scrap piece of this paper, and I'm just going to put it on the ends. Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. Okay. And then here is where I realize, oh, I didn't pay attention to how, like, to the border, because I wanted the papers to match up. And so here I'm just going to put that strip down, and then I'll put the rest of the paper down on top of the strip, which is what I should have done in the first place. I don't know why I didn't do it that way. So now I'm happy with that. I do decide to glue down these bits a little bit more just so that it's not making the photo stand up so much. And I did actually consider maybe popping the photo up on pop dots, but I didn't really want to do that because I didn't want to do that to the hearts, but I wanted everything to be kind of flush together on this layout so that there wasn't anything that was higher in dimension. And so I'm going to do a little cluster up there in the top left-hand corner. And that little cut apart says, oh gosh, what does it say? Now I can't even remember. It's all in the smile is what it says. And so here, what I'm doing, I have this glue runner, tape runner, and it's like completely broken. Like, I don't even know what I did to break it like this, but I must have put it in the wrong way or something. And it's not the most adhesive. And my machine, my sewing machine, is really picky about getting glue on it, like on the needle. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to use an adhesive that would stick to my needle just in case I kind of went over the adhesive. But here I'm also trying to make sure that I'm putting it on just one side of the heart, and then I'm going to take my sewing machine and go down the middle of the heart. And there's a fun story that goes along with this because my son, who is 5, is my little terror, and I love him to pieces, but oh my goodness. So I had to clear off my desk and pull out my sewing machine. And he was in the room with me playing on the iPad because he wanted to play on the iPad. And I thought, okay, I need to just get this layout done because I was running late with it anyway. And so I let him play with the iPad because I knew that would occupy him. Well, when I pulled out my sewing machine, he was like, ooh, one of mommy's crafty toys. I am going to play with this. I tell him all the time not to play with my sewing machine. And no matter how many times I say it over and over and over and over again, just doesn't care. It's just the coolest toy ever, right? So he's there playing and I'm like, Tinian, please don't play with my machine. I don't want you to get hurt. And I turned around to grab my layout to, go and use the sewing machine. And let me tell you, the sewing machine was not on. It was just plugged in and he was just kind of playing with the little needle thing. I don't even know what you call it. The thing that makes it go up and down manually. And so he was just kind of playing with that. And then I heard him click down the foot and I was like, okay, that's fine. As long as he's not playing with the needle and putting his finger under the needle. Yeah. And then the next thing I hear is a scream from him. And I look over and he had put his finger under the needle and rotated the needle, whatever you call it, and poked his finger. And he didn't just poke his finger a little bit. The needle was in his finger. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I completely freaked out. He was screaming his head off. And like it did go past his nail a little bit and it bled a little bit, but it wasn't bleeding that bad. I still did decide to take him to the doctor just to make sure he didn't need to get a tetanus shot or anything like that. I do keep my needles pretty clean. And so the doctor wasn't too worried. And he is up to date on his shots. And it wasn't bleeding very much at all. And he let the doctor touch it and, kind of play with, like, move his finger back and forth and he could use it like normal. And so the doctor was like, just keep an eye on it, make sure you keep a Band-Aid on it and some Neosporin and just keep it clean and it'll heal by itself. And he said just, to watch, make sure it doesn't get infected or anything. And I was just like, oh my gosh, of course this would happen to me. So anyway, long story short, now here we are. And I finally, later that night, after my son was in bed, I was able to go back to my layout and use my sewing machine. So I just did some sewing on each row of hearts down the middle. And here I am just not gluing, but taping. I'm pulling through the string to the back and then I'm taping the ends of it so that it won't come undone. And I'm just using some tape that I don't really do a whole lot of washi tape on my layouts in the first place, but I don't really like this red color particularly, so I'm just using a color that I don't really like so much. And then once I'm all done with that, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to pull out some word strips. The sketch shows a couple of different places where you can put like strips, like it has strips on there. And so I'm going to pull out some word strips. That's what I'm doing right here, is trying to think, okay, what else am I going to do? Oh, I forgot. I do actually pull out some sprays because I did feel like it needed a little bit more something. So I pulled out this peacock color from Heidi Swap. I kind of felt like it was a little too dark. And then I pulled out mustard and butter and then this Dilutions blue. And none of them were looking good. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Because yeah, I just couldn't find the right color, but I wanted to make sure I did it. So I pulled out this Heidi Swap gold. And the thing that I hate about gold is that if you don't shake it up enough, it leaves like a line of water around the paint. And even when you do shake it up, it still does that a little bit, but oh well, it still looks pretty. And then I did decide to use the peacock blue color. So I'm going to use those two colors on here. And then let's see, what else am I going to do? Oh yeah. So now is where I'm going to I'm going to clean off my mat because I got a little bit of the paint on there. And then I'm going to grab some word stickers. And I had some Halloween ones and some 4th of July ones, and then I think these are 4th of July ones too. And this one said it had words like boy and shine and brother, and so I'm just pulling off a few of them and putting them there. So right there, I put down my boy, and then underneath that, I put brother. And then I'm going to pull off, let's see, this one says shine, and then joy, and then it says you. And I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to leave it to say you shine. And then on this heart, I'm going to have it say something about joy or something like that. And then purity is another one. And I'm just kind of going through this sticker sheet, pulling some off. And then this one says, my hope. And my idea was that I could have my hope and then do some journaling down there, just a couple lines of journaling, and have it start out with my hope for you, and then just to do the rest of the journaling. So I pulled out kind of like a goldish green little gel pen, and I'm going to do 2 lines on here. And then I'm going to journal with a black pen, and that's from EK Tools, I believe. And let me grab the layout real quick. Okay, so yeah, so what I decided to write for the journaling is just, my hope is that you will always be able to laugh and smile and be happy. And this layout it's going to go with a Project Life spread because I have a ton of pictures from this day, because it's actually the night before Thanksgiving, and we were like preparing some Thanksgiving stuff and doing a couple things. And so so I am going to have another page that has more journaling about this actual event. But for this picture, I wanted to just kind of focus on Jonas. This is my oldest son, Jonas, and how I just love his smile, and I love how happy he is all the time. And I just always want him to be that way. So I did add a couple more of those stickers, and here I'm going to show you some close-ups just so you can see the sewing that I did. And that is the end of my layout. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you haven't yet, make sure that you also watch Jen's video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.